This gameplay video is brought to you by Brandon Drennan. A massive thank you, Brandon. Omnath Locus of Mana Wurm Tribal versus General Tazri. Tormod the Desecrated partnered with Gilanra Caller of Wirewood. And Jarad Carthalion True Heir. 30 lands in this deck, and we get 3 straight away, which can send us up to Mana Reflection pretty quickly, so I say we keep this one. Oh, nearly F6 through the turn there. Luckily, Billy Kills was not F6'd himself, so I had time to respond. Yeah, we'll just get down the forest, and now we will pass. Probably get down a turn 2 Mana Vault so that we can go turn 3 Mana Reflection. Evolving Wilds from Kills, we've got 2 friends from the Discord up with us. Billy Kills is a long-time patron and supporter of the channel, and then Machinimasound is from the Discord as well, going down for a Groundskeeper. And then we are relying on a random in General Tazri, so hopefully, and it's nothing too crazy, just getting down a tap land to start off with, so might be that they're going for a Maze's End win with the gate. I think it's called Maze's End. Alright, a World Spine Worm will get down a forest into Mana Vault. Then a turn 2 play for Machinimasound, Scrap Heap, Scrounger. 3-2 that can't block, and you can exile a card from your graveyard to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. Hitting Billy Kills for 1 with the Groundskeeper. And this deck is brought to us by Brandon Drennan, by the way. This is Wurm Tribal, and Brandon supports us at the Mythic tier on Patreon, so he gets to submit a deck every month, and this is his Mono Green Wurm Tribal deck. We get into another forest, so let's get down the Mana Reflection. Yeah, so a big thank you to Brandon for supporting the channel and giving me this deck to play with. Hopefully we can do it justice here. A Kodama's Reach from Billy Kills. Now a Glowspore Shaman after the tap land comes down. General Tazri got out another gate, by the way, so that is 2 gates here. And I think, yep, we are eating 4 damage, which makes sense once we get down Mana Reflection. Lantern Scout. When Lantern Scout or another ally enters, creatures you control gain lifelink. That's a 3-2. Alright, a Gaia's Touch for us. I think we just drop Reliquary Tower. We'll get our commander into play. And do we care about Gaia's Touch? Or would I rather just float the mana? Yeah, I don't think we really care at this point, to be honest. So let's just float this mana. And we'll hold back our 6/6 Omnath. Now Jarad comes into play, and it gives the Monarchy to... oh, giving it to us, so that we'll get swung into, no doubt. Probably trying to use it as some form of removal for the Golgari player. Anyway, Trailblazer's Boots goes on there now that we've got the Reliquary Tower. The Jarad will be able to come straight into us. And it is Tormod the Desecrator for the Golgari player. And they are going to take the Monarchy away from us. They can be swung in out with the Trailblazer's Boots, as can the ally player as well. They can just get this into play, so we'll go for blocking the 3-1. We go down to 32 and they steal the Monarchy away from us. Elixir of Immortality from the 5-colour ally player. So I'm assuming that no one's got any removal for the Mana Reflection, because I dare say we would have seen it by now. Then a Zulaport Cutthroat as well, giving all of their creatures lifelink and deciding not to swing in. Then I don't think we need to untap the Mana Vault here. We get into Death Coil Worm. You may have it assign its damage as though it wasn't blocked. I think World Spine Worm is the one to go for here. So that is a 15-15. Might as well get down the Gaia's Touch with the extra mana we've got, because I don't think a 3-3 Omnath is going to make that much of a difference. Now Jarad would most likely be going in towards Machinimasound to get the Monarchy away. And he does swing in over there. Oh, and a Pariah's Shield as well. The equip cost is 3 on that, so we've got a chance to respond at least, but yeah, we don't want Pariah or Pariah's Shield being in play if we can help it. They draw a card at the end of the turn as well, because they are the Monarch now. A Saga, the Binding of the Titans. Each player mills 3. So a land gone there, Blasphemer sacked, that's a really good one to get rid of, especially when they are the Monarch. Generous Gift, we got rid of Abundance, Wormcoil Engine, and Sylvan Library. That would have been nice to draw into next turn. Command Tower gone, Decimator of the Provinces gone, and Keskit as well. And as for the Allies players, Endikar Resurgent, getting rid of some really good cards with the mill, a land and Marasa Pyromancer as well. Then the 3-2 goes in towards kills to get that monarchy away. Elixir of Immortality being cracked and shuffling all those things back into the graveyard. They gain 5 life. And they're not playing another ally, so just deciding to pass the turn here. Oh, a Sandworm Convergence. That I don't think is going to be relevant, but we get a worm at the end of our turn at least, so not getting into lands, unfortunately. Maybe Eternal Witness into Abundance isn't terrible, or we just drop Sylvan Library. Let's go E-Witness. Grab that Sylvan Library back. Then drop the Sylvan Library. And why don't we see about taking this monarchy away as well. So knocking Mattisman down to 23. And we'll take the monarchy away there. Need to not get distracted by this thing and leave Billy Kills alone for too long, or the Allies player for that matter. So if we sack that, we go up to 5. Can't do anything with that. We need to start drawing into lands really, so yeah, we'll just pass like that. Getting into all of our big worms. Impervious Great Worm this time. Sol Ring for kills. Pariah Shield going onto the Jarad. So Jarad can swing in at us here to take the monarchy away. And we'll need to get some removal on that Pariah Shield. So hopefully Brandon has put some removal in the deck for equipments and artifacts and enchantments. Anyway, knocking us down to 27 and taking the monarchy away. Then going through to the end of the turn, drawing a card with 5 mana held up and 6 in hand. Now the saga is exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. For each creature exiled this way, you gain a life. So they exile their own Glowspore Shaman, then deciding to mill 2 with the Skull Prophet, and that will trigger the Tormod the Desecrator. So they get a zombie into play. They targeted our Wormcoil Engine with the Saga as well, by the way, so exiling the Wormcoil Engine and the Glowspore Shaman. Then casting Roiling Regrowth. Then the 3-2 going in towards kills. I don't think he understands the whole Pariah Shield thing, so he's going to end up putting counters on the Jarad here. Yep, so we can't deal any damage to Billy Kills in combat at the moment, because Pariah Shield will prevent it and put it onto the Jarad, but while Jarad is the Monarch, he will prevent damage to him and replace it with plus counters. So Jarad is now a 6-6 commander, with Unblockable near enough. Oh, actually, the non-basic land has disappeared from here, I don't know. Oh, they sacrificed it to the Roiling Regrowth. Yeah, that's clever, so getting rid of the non-basic land so that this can't go through. So that is actually relevant. General Tazri has nothing but non-basics, apart from this one basic swamp here. So Tazri comes down and triggers the allies. And with the commander, they decide to tutor up Hagra, Diabolist. When it or another ally enters, you may have a target player lose life equal to the number of allies you control. And a 1-1 swings in. They don't seem to be learning what's happening here. There's 1 damage going on to the Jarad, so now 4 plus counters jumping up to a 7-7. Hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll learn what's happening here eventually. Now let's have a look with the Sylvan Library. We've already gotten into a land, so that's good. And of course, yeah, just a bunch of lands on top. So if we get hit by kills, we'll go down to 20. If we take 8 here, then that'll be 12. So our life is going to plummet. I think we have to. I think we have to do this and hope that kills doesn't go in at us. So we'll put a land into play with the Gaia's Touch, and then play 1 for the turn. Yeah, missing lifelink or something, that'd be nice. Why don't we just go for the Impervious Great Worm here? Tap down the Eternal Witness to help pay for that. And then we've got 6 held up. So I say we just sacrifice this. And we'll go for the Death Coil Worm as well. Yeah, something like Shadow Spear would be good, I think. Because not all the worms, like the Impervious Great Worm, doesn't have any kind of evasion on it. So it's cheap. Not only would you get Trample to get something like this through, but you gain a bunch of life as well. So something like that might be an idea. Anyway, let's swing in the World Spine Worm towards the allies, because they're at a surplus of life anyway. They could take the hit directly and join us all at around the 30 mark. Yeah, and just decided to take the hit directly, going down to 30. Now we'll see what kills has in store for us. There's every chance of getting one shot by Jarad, because you can always go for a chain reaction or blasphemous act, something like that. And that obviously wipes the board most of the time, and then you can just swing through for lethal with 21 points of commander. Going for a Signet first anyway. And then a Xenagos, so that's at least 14 points of commander going on someone. Should have only been 6, but some players have been swinging in over here, unfortunately. So that might make all the difference here. Okay, no, going in at the allies player. So that's 14 points of commander. Alright, I just had a look through the deck list. There's no Beast Within or Song of the Dryads in here either, so I don't know, maybe there's some worms that come in and fight or something like that. Not that that'll help us in this scenario, because damage is prevented to the Jarad, so we're relying on the multicoloured players here to just straight up destroy this thing. Binding of the Titans will go to its 3rd chapter and be sacrificed. Return a target creature or land from graveyard to hand. And they are going after the Sweet Gum Recluse, which allows them to put a zombie into play tapped. Then casting with Cascade into the Sweet Gum Recluse gets them into a Graveborn Muse. So they have 4 zombies, including the Graveborn Muse, so they're going to take a lot of damage to that. Might draw them into the answers they need though. This thing is a 0/3 with reach. When it enters the battlefield, put 3+ counters on each of any number of target creatures that entered this turn. So a bunch of plus counters being distributed here. But before that comes in, going for Death Rattle, delve, destroy a target non-green creature. And surely that's going on Jarad. No, going on the ally player. Strangely enough, why on earth would you... Okay, well, personally, I would have gone for Jarad. Well, we still can, because Swiftfoot Boots is only inevitable. Alright. That kills that off, and Zulaport Cutthroat will trigger. So another zombie came into play from the Delve, and a bunch of plus counters being distributed here. Everything that has Summoning Sickness on it, basically. 3 plus counters going on each of those. The zombies jump up to 5/5s. Resolute Blade Master this time. Creatures you control gain double strike when this or an ally enter. So everything gets double strike and lifelink here. And... Alright, are they just trying to gain life here? Piling even more plus counters onto the Jarad. So they go up to 18 with the Jarad, which puts Jarad at exactly enough to commander one-shot us. But then going for the Ghost Quarter onto our Reliquary Tower. Very kind. So that means that the Jarad isn't unblockable anymore. Just letting the 5-colour player know that I'll try and save him if I get into any instant speed removal or anything. If I can save him in any way, then I will. Okay, a Nemesis Mask. Let me remind myself. All creatures able to block the equipped creature do so. Alright, that's an interesting one. Might be time to untap the Mana Vault soon. Hopefully we can get something going with this Sylvan Library. Okay, Vorinclex. There's Tooth and Nail. Vorinclex. I don't want to hurt my opponents, to be honest, not while Kills is running rampant. So how's about we put Nemesis Mask and the Vorinclex on top? And we can always grab Vorinclex with the Tooth and Nail if we feel the need to. So I'll drop a land first of all. And then we want to entwine. And do we have any means of destroying an artifact? Don't think so. Yeah, I think it might have to be with such a low life total, the Elder Scale Worm. Seaborn Muse is tempting, but we can't do anything at instant speed anyway. We could float a bunch of mana with the Locus, but we need to be able to destroy that Pariah Shield, really. Would be nice to have a Rex Sage or something. So we'll go for the Elder Scale Worm. And let's get down at the Nyxbloom Ancient as well. And we'll throw both of those into play. So that means our lands tap for 6 mana apiece, so we're up to 13. So we might as well just throw down the Sandworm Convergence. And like I said, in the spirit of us all trying to get rid of kills, or at least get rid of the Pariah Shield, I'm not going to swing in at anyone here. Then at the end of the turn, we get a Sandworm Convergence. Beast Within just went on to something. Who has a Beast token? Oh, they went for their own Cinderglade maybe, to give themselves a Beast? Maybe they tapped their mana too quickly and they were... Yeah, maybe they were tapping the Cinderglade for mana and instead targeted it with the Beast Within. I don't see why they'd be desperate for a Beast there. Yeah, Kill's saying that was an accident, so I'm not sure what he was after there. Yeah. Well, we'll see what he does on his turn. That might give us a clue. And I'm sure he'll let us know in the comment section. So Xenaghost coming out and triggering. And that will double the power and toughness of this. And there's only one way it can go without being blocked, and it's towards the allies player. A 36-36 with non-basic land walk. And unfortunately didn't get to see too much from the allies player, so they scoop in response, which you shouldn't ever do. Thankfully, Jarad doesn't have lifelink on it or anything, so I don't think that was going to be all that relevant. And then there's a Stuffy Doll as well, and they've chosen us for that, so if there's a big X spell, or something like a Blasphemous Act, then that is something to worry about. I don't think we've got any Artifact Exile in this deck, so highly doubt we're going to get rid of Stuffy Doll. Something like the 6 mana Ugin. The 6 mana Ugin is Destroy, I think. I think it's Karn, the Planeswalker that exiles stuff, so that might be useful in here as well. It all takes slots away from the Wurm Tribal theme though. Okay, so going down to 19 over here, 9 cards in hand thanks to the Graveborn Muse. Oh, that's a shame, and Mattisman didn't make it back in time. His laptop crashed and he's timed out, didn't manage to get back in time. I think you get 4 minutes once you time out. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Computers are what they are. Now, I'm not sure what kind of removal we are going to draw into here, if any. Because I was just having a quick look through the deck list, and before I got to the big CMC worms, I couldn't find any at all. And it seemed to be very concentrated on getting the worms into play, but as soon as someone plays some kind of prison effect... Oh, and I just hit no on Sylvan Library. Excellent. Ugh. Okay. That's because I was chatting away. Alright, let's go for just playing our hand here. I've got a feeling that we're not winning this one anyway, if we can't get into any kind of removal. Let's just play a 12-12 worm with the worm calling just for the fun of it. And then we'll play a 14-14 as well. Again with buyback, and then let's just tap out and we'll make our commander massive. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I'm missing here. This can assign as though it wasn't blocked. That is when it dies, or when it's shuffled. Triple mana. Our life total can't drop below 7. Gets a worm when it dies. Yeah, I mean, we just need removal. We also need to say yes to the Sylvan Library so that we can actually look at some cards. Yep. Let's just pass like that. I think we'll untap the Mana Vault as well, just so that the Stuffy Doll is less relevant. Going straight through to combat, doubling up Jarad's power and toughness again. And swinging in, might as well dump a bunch of damage onto him. Where's our indestructible? Actually, we're probably best just chumping, aren't we? So let's chump with the Eternal Witness, so that we don't put as many plus counters on it. Then it's Rampant Growth. Okay, let's try this again. We will untap the Mana Vault this time. Then go through to the draw step, and we will say yes to the Sylvan Library. Green Sun Zenith. I don't think there's anything we can go for. Like I said, a Reclamation Sage would be really good. Let's put the 3 visits on top and the forest on top, and we'll shuffle both of those away with the Zenith. Yeah, so just looking at the deck list quickly here, I have looked through all of this stuff, and it's just a means of ramping like crazy and drawing cards and stuff like that, which is really good, but obviously it won't necessarily help us. Altar of Dementia would be an interesting one to draw into. Can't tutor for it, unfortunately. So, yeah, we've got our 2 massive worms. I just don't see what we can really draw into here. Very, very lacking in removal, this. I don't know if we've got any removal, actually. Yeah, so maybe as some insurance, we should go for Kamal, Fist of Krosa, so that if he does go for some kind of board wipe, we can take out his lands. Although if he goes for a board wipe, he's probably won. Although maybe not with the Indestructible. Get down the Kamal. And with buyback, we'll make another massive worm. This time it's a 20/20. And we'll just make a little baby 14/14 this time. Then tap the forest and pass the turn again. Stuffy Doll dealing a damage to itself, so in another 14 turns that'll be us dealt with. Kozul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, create an ogre unless they pay 3. Should be able to pay that easily enough. And then Xenagos goes on to Jarad, so it's a 40/40. And continuing to swing in at us. I mean, does it even matter what we block with? If they've got some kind of direct damage from the Jarad, then they've already got us at this point, so we might as well just dump even more plus counters on there. And Kills continues to draw cards over there because he's got the Monarchy. And we get into a Crypt and a Forest, so we put both of those on top and we go for the Kindred Summons just for the fun of it. Basically doubling up our worms here. We reveal the top X cards of our library, where X is the number of creatures we've got, and put each worm into play. So we get the Palaka worm gaining 7 life. When this dies, we'll get a bunch of insects. When that one blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature and gain life equal to the toughness. Bellowing Tangleworm as well. Then let's just make a little baby worm that we can block the commander with. And then we'll make a really big one. 26/26 worm. And we'll hold up the rest of our mana for all the Kamal so that we can turn them into lands in response to a board wipe. The Stuffy Doll continuing to hit us. We've gained a bit of life now. A Smothering Tithe. So even if the lands do go down, he's not necessarily going to struggle with mana. Then Xenagos is going to make Jarad a 72/72. And swinging in at us again, we've got our little worm to block with. Not that it matters at this point, I don't think. Then Pariah's Shield being moved onto the Stuffy Doll. And drawing a card. Even if we did get rid of the Pariah's Shield, I don't think we can swing into the Stuffy Doll anyway. Concordant Crossroads to start off with. Alright, Momentous Falls is a means of us drawing some cards at least and trying to get into an answer. Let's put these on top. We're just going to draw into them with the Momentous Fall anyway. And then we've got a 26/26 worm, so let's sacrifice that one. Alright, and the Smothering Tithe triggering like crazy. Yeah, we've got a bunch of mana doubling and stuff like that. Concordant Crossroads, Heroic Intervention, none of this helps us. It's all just much of a muchness, really. So we'll just say no to the Tithe a bunch of times. Actually, hang on, this might help us. Target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library. That doesn't get us around the Stuffy Doll, but if we can remove the Stuffy Doll and the Pariah's Shield, we might have them here. This is exactly why I didn't want to give up when I didn't think there was any means of getting out of it. Alright, so how is Stuffy Doll worded? Whenever it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to the chosen player, so I think we can just go wide on them here. Stuffy Doll will go on the stack when we've already dealt damage to kills, so I think we might have them here. Let's play out the Mana Crypt. Might as well drop a land. Play the Vernal Bloom. I'm just playing all this out because I'm not sure how much of it's going to be relevant. Enchant one of our lands. Play the Nissa so that we can make a bunch of double mana. And we'll untap one of our lands. And tap that creature down straight away. Let's throw down the Garrick. And we've got 41 cards left in the deck. The greatest power is 2020, I think. Yeah, I think it's this one. We've got the Bellowing Tangleworm for Intimidate, but that doesn't help us with artifacts, yeah. I think we can just swing in at them once we've got rid of the Pariah Shield. Let's just minus this down and draw a bunch of cards. Oh, forgot about the Smothering Tithe actually, so hopefully this doesn't break the client. Alright, so did we get anything else that is of relevance? No, I don't think so, really. Alright, so why don't we just go for the line of play that we think is going to work here. That is, put a non-creature permanent into its owner's library and shuffle. So we'll carefully pick the Pariah Shield. Yeah, so that goes through. They can only block one creature with this anyway, so even if it wasn't going to work the way I think it is, they'd only deal like 20 damage to us. Let's just play something just in case so that we can make use of this mana. We'll just play this thing. Put another enchantment on a land and we'll get Greater Good just in case we need to go for Altar of Dementia. So now we've got to be careful about which creatures we swing in with, just in case they have like Comeuppance or something like that, although I don't think Comeuppance can get us with this in play. Yeah, reduces it to 7 instead. I mean, they've got multiple cards in hand, so there's plenty they could do. Okay, so they block here, here and here, and assuming that no damage goes through, which it will thanks to Trample, but assuming it doesn't, we will then need to hit them for 12, 26, and 40. I'm hoping that'll be alright. Let's go for the Engulfing Slagworm as well. Yeah, we'll just go in with all those. Forgot all about the Kazul, actually. Should be able to pay for that, though. Yeah, that land taps for 9 alone. I allowed them to have one Ogre there because I didn't want to tap down another land. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to use the Heroic Intervention here. Although I don't need to, do I? Because we've got the Omnath, so we keep the mana anyway. Forgot about that. Alright, so just blocking the 2020 with the Stuffy Doll. The Beast blocks the 1616 Indestructible. And we'll see if he's got anything at instant speed for us. Deflecting Palm or Comeuppance or something. Alright, Swords to Plowshares. To gain a bunch of life is a clever move. Don't think we can do anything about that. Yeah, so we'll just have to allow that. At least they give us the Monarchy when they play their commander next turn. Although we'll get the Monarchy here anyway, won't we? So they jump up to 72 life anyway. 6 cards in hand. Alright, but we managed to get them anyway. They go down to -4. Yeah, I thought we were going to have to play for another turn there. Yeah, I didn't think we had that much damage on them. Yeah, maybe if they'd blocked with the Ogres, they might have been able to postpone it, but with the cards in hand, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they were really going to do anything. They could have postponed even longer. But I think we might have had that one after the removal. They might have gotten into Pariah or Pariah's Shield and given us a hard time again. But we can pull the cards out of our graveyard with the big mythic that I forget the name of. We could have pulled it back out with Praetor's Council and gone for the removal again. Let's have a look at the deck list here. So Brandon is a very capable deck builder, but there are a couple of things that I would change here if it was my deck. Where are we? Yeah, Kindred Summons is, as much as I love that card, it is a win more card. So if it was up to me, I would take that out. And I want Beast Within at Reclamation Sage and Song of the Dryads in here, because we were at a stalemate for way too long there due to not being able to get into removal. I think we might have gotten into the only removal spell in the entire deck. So we'll just add the Rex Sage and the Song of the Dryads as well. And it's noteworthy that I put Mana Vault in here just to replace the Doubling Cube, because Doubling Cube doesn't work in multiplayer on MTGO. Just for anyone who doesn't know, that's what Doubling Cube does. 3 and tap, double the amount of unspent mana you have. Yeah, so I think we were just unlucky there. We could have gotten into Altar of Dementia and milled out kills in the end, because we had that many worms, but just unlucky to not draw into it there. What cards do we want to remove? I think something like Riptide Replicator. Yeah, it could be good with the Seedborn Muse, I suppose. That's gonna be a bit of a hit and miss one. Planar Bridge, search for a permanent, put it in. I mean, again, good with the Seedborn Muse, but all very, very mana intensive things here. Gaia's Touch is okay in the early game. I mean, maybe this is worth considering removing, because in the late game it just gets you 2 mana, and I mean, it's okay, I suppose, at that point, but if you want to get extra lands into play, maybe Explore would be better. Although Explore doesn't pay for itself. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure here what to take out, to be honest. Yeah, so maybe something like Lurking Predators. I don't know how many... Yeah, there seems to be more non-creature spells than creatures in the deck. And this is creatures it cares about, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll take that out, and then we just need to remove one more. This is fairly arbitrary what I'm taking out, obviously. Brandon doesn't have to listen to me. And neither do any of you. So like I said, it's arbitrary. Hall of Gemstone, I don't like that card because it just keeps your opponents from playing. It's a bit too stacksy for my liking, so I'll just take that out arbitrarily. But yeah, we'd definitely try and cram in some removal in the form of maybe a Croson Grip. But yeah, Reclamation Sage. And we've put in Song of the Dryads just to round it out. And what else did we add? Oh, of course, in the 3-drop slot as well, it was Beast Within as well. So much more removal there, especially with all the cards that you're going to draw. You're much more likely to get into them and not be trapped in that predicament again. Luckily we managed to pull it out anyway. Hopefully you all enjoyed this revisit to the Mono Green Wurm Tribal deck. Big thank you to Brandon for letting me play it and for supporting the channel. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.